via Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for all the latest news on your favorite players and NWSL team. Check us out at facebook.com/SkyBlueFC and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at SkyBlueFC. Sky Blue FC is proudly partnered with the Eastern Development Program. EDP exists to support soccer programs in the region with player development as their primary focus, thereby supporting the growth of soccer in the United States. To learn more, go to EDP.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Charlie, joining you live here at Sky Blue's home opener against the Houston Dash, the second game for both teams. We're going to throw it down to the field for Dan Laletta and Brittany Alvarado on the pregame show.
Our team guide is the perfect souvenir to remember your game day experience with us. And there is plenty of info and room to get autographs from the players.
Welcome to Yurcak Field in Piscataway, New Jersey. I'm Brittany Alvarado alongside my co-host Dan Laletta. Home opener for Sky Blue FC against the Houston Dash. Two teams coming in very hot. Sky Blue won against Kansas City 1-0, and Houston Dash won against the Washington Spirit 2-0.
A couple of non-playoff teams from last season. It's always good to get the season off to a good start. They come in today both with a chance to go to 2-0. It's early in the season, but at the same time, it's a 20-game schedule, so it's not that much time to build up your points and climb up the standings. And it will be a very unusual season. There's a lot of players departing for the World Cup. When you have a young team, especially the Dash, who finished last season on a down note, as opposed to Sky Blue, who won their last 5 last season, getting off to a good start can really be the difference in climbing from the bottom, getting confidence, and getting in a playoff race.
Let's talk about the rookies, 3 of them making a start today. For Sky Blue, Kristen Grubka, or as her teammates like to call her, Grubs, is on the back line. And of course, Sarah Killian, midfielder from UCLA. And a name that needs no introduction, Miss Morgan Bryan on the Houston Dash. They're put in an early situation for making an impact.
Absolutely. Bryan and Killian were picked first and second in the draft in January. Jim Gambara even hinted that maybe if he had the #1 pick, he would have preferred Sarah Killian. Maybe could have worked out a trade. It didn't work out that way, but he got the player it seemed that he wanted. And they were both very good in their debuts. Bryan obviously has been training with the national team, so there's probably nothing out here that she'll see that she hasn't seen before. She might start for the United States in the World Cup. Grubka, kind of a scary proposition for a rookie. First game right in there next to Christy Rampone on the back line. Not 100% Christy Rampone either, and she was part of a shutout. She's right back in there today next to Rampone. So all 3 rookies really made a big impact, and it's nice to see, and hopefully they can keep it up.
Now, no one can forget Nadia Nadeem's terrorizing performance last season. 7 goals in 6 games. We joked with Coach Waldron about it before the game, and we said he's just going to have to tie her down to stop her. But what does the Dash need to do to stop her today?
Well, legally speaking, in the confines of soccer, the best thing for Nadia Nadeem is to deny her service. I know that's cliche for a lot of forwards, but if you watch the Kansas City game, she had a chance to score. She had about a quarter of an inch space where she could have put the ball between Nicole Barnhart and the crossbar, and she got it there from an impossible angle, really. Probably the best finish of the entire week in NWSL. So if you get her the ball, there's a good chance that the fight is already over and that she can score if she gets the shot that she wants. So denying her service and winning the midfield is going to be the big thing for the Dash to stop Nadeem. And by the way, every time she has started for Sky Blue, all but her first game when she came in off the bench, she has either a goal or an assist, and sometimes both.
Now, the Houston Dash are at full strength right now. Their Canadians came back in to play this game. McLeod will be in goal, as well as Sessamon will be starting with Chapman. This team is pretty scary with the full lineup like that.
Yeah, I mean, you saw what they did with Lloyd and Bryan coming in, who had barely trained with the team. Same applies to Sesselman and Chapman. McLeod at least was on the club last year. Sesselman, too, but was injured, so she played for Canada in a friendly a little while ago, but she hasn't played a league match since August of 2013 when she was she started their losing playoff game. So Ella Masser, who's also dealing with a little bit of a facial injury after she took a shot to the face on opening day, she goes out. Stephanie Oakes, who has never missed an NWSL game, she starts this one on the bench, and the 2 defenders come in. And the one other change with McLeod in goal, obviously, for Henninger, Ashley Nick, who was a Sky Blue player last season and the tail end of 2013, she starts. Rachel Axon to the bench. Randy Waldron said they're pretty close, just wanted to give Nick a shot, but doing it against her old team would be a good motivation for her.
The 1-2 punch of Harley Lloyd and Kaylee Ojai. They scored the goals against Washington last game. How did Sky Blue stop them?
Well, one thing about Carly Lloyd that the Dash didn't have last season, the goal that Lloyd scored was not the product of a great through ball or a methodic build-up. She had the ball on top of the penalty box, and she just let it rip and put it off the bottom of the crossbar and in. They almost went to the half in that game scoreless, but Lloyd scores that goal. All of a sudden, it's 1-0, and they're not saying, well, we had a lot of chances, but we still are 0-0. We have to finish. Lloyd took something. It wasn't nothing, but she can create goals from anywhere. She can also defend, so she can be anywhere in the midfield. Ojai came into the season saying she wanted to take people on and be more aggressive and assertive, as she was at the end of last season, and she proved that against the Spirit. She is willing. Any defender in this league one-on-one, so Sky Blue will have to be wary of that. They'll need help for their defenders in case Ojai beats them. You don't want to mark her too close because she'll blow you right by you.
Now, we talked about Lindsay Cutshall earlier this week and how important she will be and very key to the backline to Sky Blue, especially when Rampone leaves for the World Cup. So can you just talk about how key Lindsay Cutshall is in the backline?
Yeah, Cutshall's been here. She was a first-round pick in 2013. She's the only one of those 8 first-round picks who will have played for the team that drafted her in all 3 NWSL seasons. And right now she's in midfield. But the plan seems to be that when Rampone goes away to the World Cup, that Cutshall will drop back and play with Grupka. Now, it took Cutshall a little while to develop. She was hurt a lot in her first season. But Jim Gabbard really backed her. He protected her in the expansion draft when maybe he could have lost a player. I think Kendall Johnson was the one that he left open instead of Cutshall. She started to come on toward the end of last season, and I do think that she is a key. They put a lot of faith in her, and it's time for her to make good on that faith this season because they're going to need her.
Well, we would like to thank the Houston Dash for bringing the sunshine today for this beautiful game, and we are in for a great matchup. Stay tuned and back up to you guys.
Stop recording. Yeah.
Good? All right.
That was pretty good. What did you say?
You heard them? You heard them? Are you gonna forget?
What did you say when he came on? So,
No one said anything. I just got a cue and just wanted to. Oh, it's Ricky.
No, it's okay.
I literally have no idea. I honestly don't know.
good luck tonight. I can text you if you want.
Okay. Yeah. You guys can hear this. You can hear everything. Yeah, I can.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's rally tunnel is also being represented by our Platinum Club partner, FC Copa. Please welcome today's game officials, the Houston Dash, and your Sky Blue FC. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as we honor the United States of America with the singing of our national anthem. Tonight's national anthem will be performed by Amy Suznovich.
Early light, what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, came through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the fair and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, Amy Suznovich. The referee this evening is Elvis Mahmudovich. Assistant referee number 1 is Maggie Short. Assistant referee number 2 is Stephen Denisi. And the 4th official is Neil Barbalescu. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the starting lineup for our visitors, the Houston Dash. In goal, number 1, Aaron McLeod. Defender, number 4, Lauren Sesselman. Midfielder, number 6, Morgan Bryan. Forward, number 7, Kalia Ohai. Midfielder, number 10, Carly Lloyd. Forward, number 14, Jessica McDonald. Defender, number 15, Alicia Chapman. Midfielder, number 16, Ashley Nick. Forward, number 21, Melissa Henderson. Defender, number 25, Megan Klingenberg. And the captain, defender, number 19, Nikki Cross. The head coach of the Houston Dash is Randy Waldrum. He's assisted by Marcello Galveo, Hiro Suzuki, and Tom Brown. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your 2015 Sky Blue FC starting lineup, presented by Meridian Health. In goal, number 1, Brittany Cameron. In the midfield, number 2, Shauna Gordon. At forward, number 5, Maya Hayes. At forward, number 9, Nadia Nadim. In the midfield, number 10, Katie Friels. Defender, number 13, Kristen Grubka. In the midfield, number 14, Sarah Killian. Defender, number 18, Lindsay Cutshaw. Defender, number 19, Kelly O'Hara. Defender, number 22, Cammie Levin. And the captain, defender number 3, Christy Bone. The head coach of Sky Blue FC is Jim Gabara. He is assisted by Takayoshi Ishihara, Erwin von Bennekom, and Christy Holly. The Sky Blue FC athletic trainers are Sue Penrod and Dan Sharazewski. And a special thanks goes out tonight to our Platinum Club partner, FC Copa, who provided our ball escorts, ball girls, and bench buddies.
I want to welcome everybody to the broadcast. I'm here with Dan Laletta. I'm Charlie Flo. We're going to be bringing you tonight's game with the Houston Dash visiting Sky Blue, the home opener for Sky Blue, and it's Houston Dash's first road game. Kind of interesting scenario. Got two undefeated teams early on the season, but definitely a wide open game today.
And they're both non-playoff teams from a year ago, so it's nice that they both got off on the winning foot. And somebody today can go to 2-0. 2 games out of 20, that's 10% of the season, and that quick start can often be a positive as you're trying to build momentum, especially for a team like the Dash who had injuries and kind of fell apart toward the end of last season.
Yeah, you definitely want to pick up points at a maximum. They have the U.S. players here, and the Canadians are in the lineup for Houston Dash. On your TV screen, it's going to be on your right-hand side screen, Houston Dash in their crushed orange jerseys, and on your left side, your right, Sky Blue in the blue.
And the one change for Sky Blue, Shauna Gordon comes in for Meg Morris, who played pretty well last week. Gordon didn't have some of her clearances in place, so wasn't able to play last week, but she gets the start tonight at left back. And the Dash bring in the 3 Canadians plus former Sky Blue midfielder Ashley Nick.
Yeah, definitely going to be a key player to watch. Ashley Nick, always interesting playing at your former team.
Yeah, Randy Waldrum said that was one of the reasons he gave her the start, said her and Rachel Axon were kind of even and figured playing against her former team might be some good motivation.
Early on, Carly Lloyd plays an early ball into Ohio after a couple of flexions and looking for some early press.
And one thing Randy Waldrum told us was he did not want his team to sit back for the first 20 minutes and settle the game in.
Yeah, definitely a similar game plan against Kansas City. Like Dan just said a moment ago, only one player difference. Several different players in the lineup for Houston. Already into the box, and the Dame fumbled over, cleared out. Carly Lloyd about to accept. Pressure on early by Killian.
Welcomes our official supporter club, Cloud9. Show your support.
It's played wide to the top of your screen.
By making some noise with Cloud9 tonight and at future Sky Blue FC games and events.
It's playing in for a throw-in for Sky Blue. Kelly O'Hara's going to take it.
O'Hara hoping for a quicker start than last season when finishing was an issue early on. In the home opener, she had a stoppage time penalty kick against the Thorns and put it wide, and Sky Blue had to settle for a 1-1 draw.
We have some contact there. It's going to be a foul on Carly Lloyd. It was a collision. Before that collision, looks like Katie Friels and Carly Lloyd might be a story.
Yeah, Lloyd is the type of player that can be very good playing in a defensive role and very good playing in an attacking role. And if you're looking for the dash to do well here, you're going to want to see Carly Lloyd playing higher up the field because that means the ball's moving that way more often than backwards.
Rampone's service in, off. Cutshaw got the ball in. McLeod easily handles it.
McLeod should be sitting on go, getting ready for that World Cup. Should be the starter for Canada in a few weeks when the action gets underway, June 6th.
Plays it out to Henderson. They're playing the ball into the central. Carly Lloyd with control. Plays it out wide to Henderson. Off a deflection, it is a dash throw-in. Also want to say the very nice weather. Dan and I have been to several games here where it's monsooning, lightning, so this is probably maybe going down the record book as one of the nicest games in Sky Blue history.
It sure is. Hopefully it keeps up. And the last home game was actually against the Dash. It was a makeup of a night in July. We came here and sat for, 5 hours?
Yeah.
Never even kicked a ball.
Yeah, it's very interesting, especially with Houston's situation coming into the area several days early and not being able to play. Mona Dame mishandles it. You notice Ashley Nix got her hand wrapped there, but doesn't seem to be affecting her game. Also, big shout out to Sesselman playing today. So it's their first official game in a Houston Dash jersey. She played, like you said in the pregame, one season with KC and sat out all last season with the ACL tear.
Talked that she might leave NWSL and go play in Europe, but Houston decided to take her in the expansion draft and she hurt her knee. Maybe some debate as to whether that halted a move out of the league, but here she is playing for the Dash and they can use her.
Oh, high with the nifty moves. He dumped it back to Sess. Nadia with a lot of pressure there. Nadia to Dame.
And the Dame hasn't had a lot of the ball. It's only 3 minutes, but that's going to be a big key for the Dash. As you do not want Nadia Nadim to be on the ball very much. As we said earlier, once she touches it, the game could be over.
Yeah, Nadim's a player that needs maybe 2, 3, 4, and that's multiple goals.
Absolutely.
Klingenberg working the ball on the left. Plays it in. Really nice floater. Mishandled. Shauna Gordon plays it out to Katie Friels. Let's play back to Crow. Houston with some pressure. Decent amount of service in the box. Looks up for the header. Just missed. Carly Lloyd on a run. She just beats Brittany Cameron. Puts it into the box. That's a header. Megan Klingenberg on the challenge. Maya Hayes just gets it out.
Not too many keepers in this league live closer to the edge than Brittany Cameron. More often than not, she stays on the right side of it, but anxious moments if you watch Brittany Cameron come off her line.
Yeah, Brittany Cameron did a lot of gambling last week against Kansas City. It paid off. She came up with a clean sheet. So far tonight, a very physical game. Both teams wanting to set the tone early. O'Hare collects it for Sky Blue. They're looking for a run into Nadia Dame. A lot of pressure on her, giving her a lot of respect early. Sesselman looking for her options. Plays it out to Klingenberg. Little flicker into Ohio. Ohio's got pressure. Ohio's running. Beat Levin. Now challenge. Takes it to her right. Dispossessed by Kelly O'Hare.
Ohio is not going to give the ball up easily. That's a good job by Ohio.
Showing a light ball and it is picked off. Carly Lloyd with the dump in. Henderson looking for a cross in. A little misdirection. And Morgan Bryan skies it over for our first goal kick of the night.
It's good to see Morgan Bryan here. She'll miss a good chunk of the season playing for the U.S. at the World Cup. #1 overall pick in the league. Probably the worst kept secret in the league heading into the draft was Bryan being picked #1. And I asked Randy Waldrum on draft day, did you consider taking someone else who would be season? He said absolutely not. She's way too good and she'll be with us for a long time.
Yeah, definitely building for the future. And then also a little tidbit you talked about in the pregame show that the makeup game was essentially the Morgan Bryan game.
right? The Breakers were actually in last place in that game, or could have been in last place, and Sky Blue had the Breakers pick, which is how they got the number 2 pick, took Sarah Killian. So what would have happened is if the Dash had won, they would have jumped the Sky Blue would have taken the Breakers pick, which was number 1 overall.
Yeah, it was a very interesting scenario. People are saying, why are they playing the game? But you have to play a game like that when you have a draft pick on the line like that.
NBA fans, take note. They play them all hard here.
Definitely. No such thing as tanking in this league whatsoever.
Nope.
Camry Levin with the pressure. Played a great game last weekend. Killing with the ball in. A little flick by Gordon, and it's going to go scoot out of bounds.
Jim Gabera was saying that early on in Kansas City, the team was winning the ball, but then not being able to keep it until the dangerous parts of the field. And it looks like early on maybe a little bit of the same, where they're getting the ball, but they're not really getting into the attacking third yet.
Hopefully Houston playing the tempo, control in the middle. Klingenberg looking for help. Dumps it back into Nick. Plays it over to Cross. Now Chapman's going to work the angle. A little flicker in. Pressure on. Kelly here takes it, prevents a corner kick. It's going to beat deep zone throw in by Houston. Throw in handled by Henderson. Plays it back. Looking for the space in the box. Mishandled. Sky Blue's got a few numbers. They're going to be pushing at tempo. Maya Hayes is running the wing. Cammy Levin's taking a look for her. Rampone settles in. You also notice she's got that knee wrap. That was an interesting conversation about her just wanting to play. He almost has to force her out of games.
Yeah, she was supposed to play 45 minutes last week and wound up making it all the way to the 84-minute mark before she finally gave the high sign to the bench that she had enough.
It's definitely a few different minutes there, 45 to almost close to 90.
Absolutely. We'll see what happens tonight. Sesselman and Rampone both might be on some minute plans tonight, so we'll see. That's another benefit, by the way, of spending more time in the attacking third, is those defenders don't have to do as much work. You maybe get some extra minutes out of them that way.
Yeah, because we see Sesselman now just crossing the line. Throw in. Sky Blue on. Dispossess. Cutshaw making the run. She's got Nadia. She decides to dump it in. It's actually picked off by Ashley Nick.
You can see the speed of Klingenberg there tracking to get Cutshaw. That was a factor right there.
Ball's kept in by Morgan Bryan. Still a live ball. Rampone just dumps it out. So far, majority of this game has been in Sky Blue's half.
Yeah, like we said, they've won some balls. Nothing too dangerous for the Dash, but Sky Blue unable to get much headway in their attacking third yet.
Little mishandle there, McDonald. She dumps it back. Over to Ashley Nick. Plays it wide. Of a homecoming for Carter. Like she wears a different jersey every time. She's been here when it was WPS days in Atlanta jersey. She's been here in a Flash jersey. Now she's here in a Dash jersey.
And she was here in a Sky Blue jersey, too, for a season back in 2010. She was their big free agent signing.
So definitely a force to be reckoned with. One of the bigger headlining trades in the offseason.
The biggest, for my money, maybe the fact that the World Cup would get in the way would be the only thing that would, for me, make that not be. Carly Lloyd has not gotten her due necessarily for how good she has been in this league the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, most look at year one, the Flash actually get to the final. Unfortunately, did not win it, but you know it was a team that just played strong late. And any team with a Carly Lloyd you're going to get your minutes and strong play out of.
And even last year, as the Flash kind of caved in toward the end of the season, Carly Lloyd was still as consistent as it gets, and she did a lot of that work. Abby Wambach was out for a lot of the season. And the team just did not finish the season well, but Lloyd was a bastion of consistency throughout those 24 games.
We've got a battle there going with Klingenberg and Naughty and Dame. It seems like every player is going to be playing Naughty and Dame very physical, very hard tonight. Houston trying to slow it down a little bit. Nikki Cross plays it back in. Katie Friel's on the pickoff. She plays it into Naughty and Dame. A little too hard.
That's a nice ball from Fields, as you said, just a little bit too hard. But if you give, kind of like Nadim needs 2 to 4 touches to score a goal, Fields needs about 2 to 4 of those chances to put somebody behind the defense.
Soft, easy ball from McLeod over to Klingenberg. She's looking at Jessa McDonald on her left. Plays a soft one back in. Ashley Nick with a ball that was definitely misplayed there. She might have grabbed some turf there. I've also noticed tonight, I don't know if you can see it on the broadcast, a very dry field today. We've gotten a lot of little time the ball hits the ground.
Yeah, certainly the wind is a factor.
Yeah, and there was a game played here earlier today. Rutgers men played one of their spring games against Drexel University, so field doesn't look too bad a shape, but definitely a very dry situation.
In general, this field is commended by players around the league, whether it be NWSL or WPS. Players have enjoyed.
Yeah, all the games that you and I have been here, Dan, I've pretty much seen all natural bounces. I mean, that's not counting the rainstorm games, but when it's a dry game or well-taken care of field, it's all the bounces are very natural.
Yeah, there was a game here way back in 2009 against the Los Angeles Soul. It rained throughout the match, and the field held up perfectly.
Now you're taking us back.
Absolutely.
Got some trivia for you. Name all the former WPS teams that are non-existent.
Look sharp and support your club by wearing the latest jerseys, shirts, and other attire. Club. Visit nwslshop.com.
Naughty to Dame on a challenge
Hey
there.
fans, if you're looking for dinner before the next Sky Blue FC match,
Looks like we definitely haven't seen a little bit of switch that Cecil is now playing more on the right central back side. A little flip-flop they've done. And they've kind of flipped Cecilman across in the backfield.
Centennial Drive. Check out the Olive Garden in Piscataway.
Chem 11 looking over her options. It's by Killian. Lifted her wide over to O'Hare. Shauna Gordon tries a one-time flicker and knocked out of bounds by Houston. Quick throw in, Naughty to Dame. Someone called for the foul on that. A little bit of contact, could have gone either way. Quick restart, Naughty Dame with the ball, takes a step over. She looks for her options. She plays into the box. We've got some great build-up. As Shauna Gordon on, that's a Shauna Gordon goal! Sky Blue up in the 5th minute. It was right on the edge, maybe 13th, 14th minute. Sky Blue take a 1-0 lead in their home opener against the Houston Dash.
And I don't know that Nadia Nadim will get on the score sheet for that one, but you can credit that goal to Nadia Nadim for that first through ball that got the Dash defense stretched and then a great finish in the end.
Definitely a lot of 1-2 combo play, something they've been working on a lot in these preseason games in practice.
And that's what we said. You don't need a whole lot of time for Nadia Nadim to put her imprint on the game. And Sky Blue, for the second straight match, grab a 1-0 lead, and I will add that they have the 1-0 lead, like in Kansas City, probably without having the best of the play to this point.
So that's a corner kick to Houston on a Cam 11 sliding tackles just outside the box. Yeah, definitely got lost with all the... Not sure we actually got the final touch on that one. Houston's going to sit for maybe a short corner. Got two plays over the ball. Carly coming in for support.
Scored by number 10, Katie Friels.
Katie Friels. So my correction there. I called Shauna Gordon. My apologies. Katie Friels on the goal.
Kelly O'Hara. Friels from O'Hara. And
Houston putting immediate pressure on, but too many Sky Blue numbers in the box.
So Nadim and O'Hara, who were so good at hooking up when they played together briefly in 2014, they do it again, and O'Hara makes the final pass to Friels. And a quality finish by one of the up-and-coming young players in this league.
Yeah, Friels is a player that I really think not as respected overall around the world, but very respected in this league.
Well, I think it took her some time to kind of figure out about playing in the league at a high level. Defensively, she wasn't fantastic, didn't always have the confidence, but you can really see her game has grown over the...
I was able, luckily, to see 3 of their 4 preseason games, and you don't really vote an MVP of the preseason, but if I had to pick one, I definitely would have picked Katie Friels. Great ball control, and she's been putting balls just on a platter for the players this season, or preseason, excuse me.
And she's also the answer to the trivia question, who gave the ball to Lisa Devanna ahead of the famous bicycle kick here against the Breakers 2 years ago.
One of the all-time greatest Sky Blue goals that I wish I would have had on my own video camera.
I think any goal in women's soccer.
Yeah, and luckily it did make one of the top 10s on some of the different nightly sportscast shows.
And a very clever ball played in by Friels to help make that happen.
Erin McLeod way outside of her block, a harmless little ball that she's going to keep control of and look over her options. Plays it softly to Nick. Seems a lot of the build-up so far for Houston's.
She's playing in that
That's a very long ball. Shouldn't be a problem for Cameron. She's going to softly pick it up. Rolls it out to Rampone. Pressure on. Killian kicks it wide back to Rampone. Rampone looking for her options. Maya Hayes is running. She's got numbers. Cutshaw's got numbers. She's got Cami 11 to her right. She's keeping with it. Dumps it out to Cami 11. Klingenberg with the pressure on. Cami 11 plays the ball in the box. Mary McLeod easily swaps.
Not many options there. Sometimes your best option is ball somewhere inside the 6 and hope for the best. An easy catch for McLeod at the near post.
For all the latest news and information on Nike.
Building up out of Chapman. Dumps it back to Cross.
A reminder to our fans, 21 and older, the Sky Blue FC Beer Garden is
Sessman looking at her options, puts it off towards midfield to Klingenberg, and she resets for Sess.
Of our match. If you do choose to drink alcoholic beverages, a reminder to please do so responsibly.
Cross is playing it over to Ashley Nick. Hands it over to Chapman. Very interesting experiment last week. Probably threw us off for a little bit of curveball, seeing Ella Masser playing in the right back position, Dan.
Well, unfortunately for the Dash, the way the roster worked out over the offseason, defense was the one area that they had to neglect a little bit, and they asked Ella Masser during preseason, do you want to play right back? And she said, yeah, what the heck, I'll play right back, and put her in there. And really the Dash won that game and got the clean sheet in their midfield, so it's difficult to assess how the back line did. I think the consensus was that Masser did okay, got caught a little bit here and there, but that'll happen when you have a player converted from a forward to in the back. And, you know, Stephanie Oakes, who played at the center back, was a forward, converted last year to left back. And then a couple days before the opener, Randy Waldrum said, why don't you hop in at center back?
The left fellas just casually asked, why don't you? You know,
Absolutely.
I think every player in this league will be willing to play any position on the field except goalkeeper. That's a trivia question or survey we should do amongst players. Would you jump in goal?
Yeah, I think a lot of them would say yes, to be honest, as long as the game didn't hang in the balance.
If your team's got a nice 5-0 lead and it's the 80th minute, yeah, I'll jump in goal.
And, you know, most great defenders in soccer were at one time great goal scorers. Christy Rampone, even way back when she played at Monmouth, set all their records for offense. And there's not enough room when you get to a higher level. If you're a good enough athlete and know the game well enough, you drop back, you play defense, and
we got a ball onto Naughty Nadame. Naughty Nadame's got pressure coming on. Let's see if she's got some magic in her feet. Little step over. She's going for the top of the 18. Knocked off the ball, but that ball's played in just over the bar by Katie Friels. Definitely frustrated there. Opportunity there. I wouldn't say it was wasted, but definitely took advantage of a very good run there by Sky Blue.
It was a good job by Nick to come back and bother Nadine it off for Friels, who almost had another one with a shot from distance.
That's another thing, that Nadim will attract a lot of attention, which will leave other players open to dump it off to, and we just saw a great example of that right there.
She is one of those players that has the flair that cannot be taught.
To Henderson, or sorry, High. Carly Lloyd on the challenge. 11 forced to play a ball, but Klingenberg picks it off. Carly Lloyd on the run. She's got options to her right and left. Plays a softball to Klingenberg. Brian plays it softly back to Sess. Sess with a little fumble there. Not a problem. Plays it over to Nikki Cross. Plays over to Ashley Nick. Back to Nikki Cross. That's kind of confusing. It does get me for a Nikki Cross and an Ashley Nick.
Yep.
Back and forth. I'm going to fumble that a few times. I promise that, fans. Over to Megan Klingberg. She makes a quick little fake. Maya Hayes does not bite on it. Back to Sess. Houston showing a lot of patience since the goal. Not hitting the panic button yet.
And at the same time, I like how Sky Blue is keeping their shape and defending well through the midfield.
Oh, we got a ball into Naughty Nadame. She's gotten her legs on it. A lot of players got about 3 or 4 Houston players closing in on her. She takes the dump back to Shauna Gordon. Gordon plays it back to Killian. And a misplay there, a little miscommunication. Looks like it's going to be a goal kick for Houston Dash.
So as I was saying, Sky Blue doing a good job keeping their shape and defending well in the midfield. And when you do that and you turn the ball over as they did just there, players are in the right spot and they can move up into the attack as we see the Dash get their subs warmed up. I don't know if that is some coaches have all their subs warm up, and we see the backup keeper, Bianca Henninger, is one of them, so I don't think she's getting ready to come in. So maybe they're just keeping warm, but subs are up.
She's not going to get a recess. They all got to get up and run. So, yeah, even when you were saying earlier to comment on that, piggyback on that about the turnover, that's how Sky Blues scored their goal last week on a turnover for throw-in. So Sky Blues has been a very good team taking advantage of turnovers and capitalizing.
And if you go back, it's a very different team. But if you go back a couple years ago, let's let this play out.
Rampone on the tackle, high, making a couple moves. Looks like Carl Lloyd that was actually not Carl Lloyd. Down Carl Lloyd in the box of ball, double team, triple team, and just gets a tiny little tap into Brittany Cameron. It's like we had Jessa McDonough was a little banged up over there, and the ref's going to talk to her.
But if you go back to 2013 when Sky Blue was on top of the league for the first half to two-thirds of the season, one thing they really did well was defend in the midfield. And if you defend in the midfield, not only do you create quick chances for your forwards, but you keep pressure off your back line and your goalkeeper. To me, playing defense, even with your forwards, is a very big step to being a good club.
I mean, it definitely makes you wonder how much better they could have been if they would have had a piece like Notre Dame to take advantage of, a breakaway that would occur from a turnover. Shauna Gordon on. She plays it in. Looks like it's going to be a Houston Dash throw-in. Chapman looking over her options. Plays it back to Cross. And Houston's going to hit the reset button and go back to McLeod. It's another key thing to watch tonight that you have Sesselman that plays for Canada and McLeod, so they definitely are on the same page. It seems like they probably almost feel like they live together.
Same when Brian and Lloyd came in last week.
And there's a turnover for Lloyd. Not mean to interrupt you, but Lloyd make a quick shot and way over the bar for a goal kick.
That's a shot you want Carly Lloyd to take 100 times out of 100. You'd like to see her do better with it. But the Dash didn't have any players who could score from that spot last season, and that's something that Carly Lloyd brings. It's not something that's easy to find.
Yeah, you always have to watch out for the Carly Lloyd factor. She's a player that can rip a shot from 30 yards and hit the upper 90. A soft little ball by Katie Fields. It looks like she might have taken a slip there.
And to finish the point about Lloyd and Brian, they came in, they hadn't trained with the Dash really at all, and they're both new to the team, but they were teammates and are teammates on the national team, and Brian and Kaylee Ojai played in a Youth World Cup together and won it, so more often than not, there's a connection that goes beyond the uniform these players are wearing on a given night.
Yeah, Randy Waldron was telling us a little bit before the game about when you have players like that, like Brian, Lloyd, that didn't have a lot of training with the Houston Dash this season, but they're such good players that you can just plug them in and tell them do their thing.
And at the same time, he did note the frustration for the players who do train with your team for weeks, and you have to tell them, sorry, there's a better player here.
Klingenberg in the box, makes a cut. She's keeping it in. She's outside the box. She's got Maya Hayes, Cami Levin with a tackle. Actually, no ref, no whistle. Keep playing. Lindsay Cutshaw with the break. She's got a lot of pressure. High. Dispossessor plays it back to Sess.
How much more confident is Maya Hayes as opposed to what she was this time last season?
I think when you're playing next to a Notre Dame, that builds up anybody's confidence.
I mean, she came in last season. She was a first-round pick. And she looked around and must have said, who's going to score the goals besides me? O'Hara couldn't finish the first month and a half or so of the season. And that's not an easy assignment when you're on a team that really doesn't have a lot of options. Even Jim Gabera said we're going to have to score goals by committee. Maya Hayes, she struggled early on, but she picked it up end of the season.
Speaking of Maya Hayes with a possession, keeps it in bounds. It rides the line. And looks like it was called out. It looked like from up here she was riding the line. We do have a different vantage point than referees, so. Megan Klingenberg looks for the throw-in, playing it back to Sess. Been a lot of play through Sess tonight.
Yeah, she's active. Looks like she's taking up a very similar role to what she had when she was part of a really good FC Kansas City backline 2 years ago.
Yeah, Sess is known to be a very, very hard player, very in shape. She's got her own fitness video DVDs you can buy, so definitely one of the most in-shape players, and good to see her out there playing, and hopefully the knee's fully intact.
A little bit of a collision there in midfield. But everybody seems okay and will play on.
Brittany Cameron in the purple jersey just dumps it out to Christine Rampone, who, by the way, will be getting ready to enter her 5th World Cup. Makes us feel a little bit old up here in the press box.
Sure.
We can remember her from when she started.
Sure does. 1999, the only player left. Didn't necessarily have a huge role on that team, but she sure has grown into one, hasn't she?
She's got the ace bandage wrapped around her leg and just still trucking. And Cutshall plays a long ball over to Gordon. I'm sorry, not Gordon. That was into Nadame. Nadame tried to play it back to Gordon, mishandled. Cross looking for options, picked up by Ashley Nick. Ashley Nick's pass is deflected, but gets to Megan Klingenberg. Cami Levin picks the pass off. Maya Hayes keeps it inbounds that time.
That time I thought it went over, right?
I was about to say the same thing, Dan. A long ball, a lot of space for Kelly O'Hare to work with. Plays it back. Sarah Killian, the rookie out of UCLA. Another neat thing, you've got a couple rookies with a couple national titles on the field tonight.
Yeah, it's always good when you come through that North Carolina. You get an opportunity to play in some very big games. Also Morgan Bryan at Virginia.
And we got pressure coming on there. Carly she's got Megan Klingenberg to her left, and she dumps it off to Megan Klingenberg with the bright yellow shoes, is streaking down the field, passes it to Ohai. Ohai's looking for her options. Holds up. She's got Cami Levin pressure, plays it in to Megan Klingenberg. Megan Klingenberg harmlessly dumps it into the box, puts it back in, a floater that's going to fall out of bounds. Still adjusting to the Megan Klingenberg haircut.
Yeah, that's one of the identifiers, right, up in the booth.
Yeah, I'm going by her boots now. There's quite a few players with bright boots.
And I should have mentioned that Killian won the title at UCLA, who had 6 players drafted.
You had the U right. Now, that definitely, to me, is kind of a factor that you can see that a college player not only can win a championship, but they know that they can play the full depth of a long professional season.
That is a difference, not only the season, but the games, because there is some substitution in college, so it's not 90 minutes or bust until you get to this level.
So Captain America with her arm, or not her armband, excuse me, her knee wrap and everything, definitely, fitting into Captain America personification there. I'll have to agree with that fan that just bled it. It is a great view from up here. The sun is setting, and it's a beautiful night here. Beautiful New Jersey.
It sure is. And every once in a while here at the start of a game, I believe it's more in play as the summer goes on. The goalkeeper on our right, where Erin McLeod, a little sun glare. Sun is down now, but I didn't notice McLeod having any issues with anything high in the air tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those home field advantages. We have a beautiful view from a skybox, press box, whatever you want to call it up here of the field. Back to Rampone. She's actually a little mishandled, but she's going to play it up deep. Plays into Maya Hayes. Maya Hayes makes a move. She's got build up. She's got options to the right. She's option to her left. She plays a little ball in to just picked off. It was in there for Shauna Gordon, and a little looper by Cami Levin, swallowed up by Erin McLeod.
And we said Ohio would take on anyone in the league. That time Hayes took on Ohio and got by her. And another good job by Nick with us make it a challenging final ball or challenging decision for a Sky Blue player about 20 yards from the box.
And Chapman on the ball, just plays it back to Erin McLeod. It's also very good to see the Canadian players. We heard a lot of different rumors back in January, December that we would not see them until the end of the World Cup. So this is very good for the league, seeing the Canadian players out there tonight.
Usual is that it seems like every player has a separate arrangement with their clubs. So it's not all Canadians across the board that are available to play in the league action this weekend. And I have no idea, to be completely honest, what the thinking is about which players get to come and play and which players do not.
Yeah, because unfortunately Sky Blue's missing their lone Canadian tonight.
Janelle Feligno.
No high with possession. Cami Levin looking on. Ohio plays it in, and it's headed out by Grubka. Another very impressive player.
Access to our professional players and more. If your club wishes to become an official partner of Sky Blue FC,
to Ohai. Cami Levin with the pressure. Cami Levin, and that's Ohai just about maybe 2 feet wide.
Got one last week, tried it again, and that was a pretty well taken shot. Just, as you said, barely missed. Cameron looked like she had that far post covered.
Yeah, these keepers do a better job than me, man. They have it so covered that probably in her mind she knows it's going wide. Played over to Grubka, a.k.a. So he plays the ball out, a little miscommunication there. That's over to Chapman. There's a challenge on. Gordon getting in the mix. Cardi plays a floater in. Maya Hayes on the challenge with Klingenberg. Klingenberg plays it in. Morgan Bryan plays it out to Carly Lloyd. Lloyd looking to use her left. A deflection. Pressure. Jessa McDonald fumbles it. Looks like it's going out for a corner kick for the Houston Dash.
That's the rookie Grubka coming across and doing a good job putting herself in between the player and the goal, not allowing the Dash to get a good shot there. First corner of the match.
It's like Houston can take it here. Trying to see who's taking. The number's not facing. Corner kicks in and headed out by Grubka. Definitely a player that is not vertically challenged. Cameron in with the ball. Deflection. Looks like it'll be a goal kick. Couldn't quite tell what deflection was, but a lot of orange juice, in there.
Looked like Nick maybe was in the mix with Cameron and put it over, and it was Melissa Henderson that took that corner kick. A couple of other players not here for Sky Blue tonight, Taylor Lytle and Haley Hagsma. Hagsma was drafted in 2014, got hurt in preseason. Lytle got hurt, I think, in May in a kind of a gruesome broken leg up in Western New York, and Jim Gabara said he hopes that they're both back in time for when Christy Rampone and Kelly O'Hara leave to join the national team for the World Cup. So they're certainly not Christy Rampone and Kelly O'Hara, and they'll both be coming off of injuries, but that's a nice luxury to have players, at least Lytle. We don't know what Hagsman will be at this level, but Lytle was pretty good.
Yeah, Lytle scored some very, very big goals. I think the goal that really got her on the map is on Portland.
Absolutely. Fantastic game that was. One of the bigger wins, and she got hurt right after that. And it's nice for Sky Blue, as I said, to have the luxury to bring in players like that when the World Cup comes around.
Yeah, that definitely changes your approach if you're a coach, that you know that a lot of your reserve players that might not be ready for week 1, 2, or 3, or 4, you don't have to feel that pressure of getting them in there minutes early.
The Dash are hoping to have Brittany Bach. They've got May 2nd circled on their calendar to hope that Bach can make her next appearance. She got hurt opening day last year, tore her ACL about 6 or 7 minutes into their opener.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is it's hard to put a timetable on it. You hear so many times, everybody says a year, somebody says 9 months, but we've seen Brittany Bach go through several injuries throughout her career with the wrist and the ribs and that why force the issue if you've got such a talented player?
And that's the first thing everybody wants to know, right? When a player goes down, when are they coming back? When are they coming back? And everybody's different. Everybody heals differently. And Brittany Bach is pretty much ready to go, but just trying to build up some of the muscles around her knee that she didn't use for so long.
Now with the through ball by Shauna Gordon, she was directing it. Naughty Dame got picked off, and Houston off to the races. Like Henderson on the run there, or Ohai with the run. She plays a right-footed cross in. It was deflected out of bounds. So we got another corner kick coming up. Looks like Melissa Henderson's going to be taking this one.
Looked like Sarah Killian got caught defending Ohai there, and Ohai had her way with the number 2 overall pick.
So Melissa Henderson's over the ball. Looks like she's going to be putting in an outswinger using her right foot. And deliver it in. Maya Hayes picks it off, plays it out of the box. Maya Hayes might actually jump on this ball. She's got Morgan Bryan chasing on. Morgan Bryan plays a great ball over to Henderson. Settled in for Chapman. Chapman's pushing up. Plays it her wide to Ashley Nick. Carly Lloyd back to Nikki Cross. They've got Ohai in the box. If she's got a strong left, she might be able to play back in. And somehow that ball stays in bounds. And Carly Lloyd on it. Carly Lloyd with some pressure. She's going to cut it back. Tries to flick it in. Dispossessed by Cami Levin, but Katie Fields comes out with the ball.
That's some good defending in that sequence, first by Friels and then by Rampone to close down Carly Lloyd. Quite impressed with how Sky Blue has defended in all parts of the field so far tonight.
Yeah, they've actually got their back several times, and they bail each other out. When one back gets beat, there's another one right there to back her up.
And again, keeping in shape, that helps for backup because everybody's in the right spot.
Miscommunication there with Sess and Klingenberg. She played it a little bit too far in. Looks like the Klingenberg wanted it behind her.
That's coming up at halftime.
We're just entering into the 37th minute here with Sky Blue on the lead on a Katie Friels goal. Beautiful setup by Notre Dame, making a beautiful run down the field and dumping it into the box.
And since that goal, up a little Dash have turned it around a little in the last 4 or 5 minutes, but Sky Blue is the better team from the goal to about the 30-minute mark.
It's like Chapman plays it in. Brittany Cameron handles it. Very rarely does she drop balls like that. Had a little miscue last week in Kansas City, but she just made it look so easy.
She does. She's got the hands. Spent a long time backing up some really good keepers on some really good teams. Finally got a chance to play every day in WPSL Elite. She made in the final. She made a spectacular save in the second half, and that helped keep it a 1-0 deficit. Flash tied it in the stoppage time and won it on penalties.
It's like Notre Dame took a nasty spill there, but bounces right back up. That's one thing about Notre Dame. She takes a lot of hits, but always just bounces right back up. Sess looking over her options, puts it over to Ashley Nick. Shauna Gordon with some, Katie Friels with some good pressure. Carly Lloyd looks over her option, flicks it in. Little shirt tugging there, but Cammie Levin.
We should also point out, a little late in doing so, that Kelly O'Hara has been the left back and Shauna Gordon has been in the midfield. So there was a little bit of a mix and match, as you had talked about earlier.
Yeah,
last week between O'Hara and Meg Morris, who came out of the starting lineup. But O'Hara's pretty much been the left back here tonight.
Yeah, exact same lineup, except the difference with Gordon replacing each other. A little swap over there. Definitely a good pickup. You know, Shauna Gordon, a player with Boston who just couldn't get on the field, and it's come out and game against Penn State in the preseason. She took pretty much every corner kick and puts on a great cross, and that's something that Jim Cabrera really stressed and why she's in there tonight, because she has great crossing ability. As Katie Friels on the ball, she looks to play it in. She's got Shauna Gordon on. Shauna Gordon gets the ball in the box. She's got it over her left. She keeps it. Thought she was going to dump it off. Now she plays it back. Killian slows the tempo up. Looks for O'Hare. Hare back to Killian. And then reset button to Grubka. A little 1-2. And then back to Grubka. Grubka plays it into Killian. Killian looks over her options. Maya Hayes is on pursuit, but it's going to go out of bounds.
That's the shape you want to see for Sky Blue, with Grubka and Rampone, the only field players in the defensive half of the field. Everybody else, including the outside backs, pushed up.
Before it gets too dark here and before we go to halftime, one of our is over in Norway now. I know she said she was going to stay up till 1 a.m. to watch us. Rachel Breton, we just want to say hello and hope you're still awake, because it's getting close about 1:30 in Norway. So, and she's out there playing in Norway and having a great season. 20 days till Rachel Breton's back here in Sky Blue. We're looking forward to having you back, Rachel.
I'm confident that Rachel made it up to listen to our broadcast tonight.
Yeah. If not, we'll wake her up at halftime. We'll do some phone calling. I'm not sure what number she has in Norway, but we'll make sure to wake her up.
And the good news for NWSL fans is all the games are archived for life if you want to check them out.
Yeah, what we say is permanent, Dan. Thanks. Little threatening there. Brittany Cameron plays a ball that just won't seem to come down, and it stays in bounds somehow, still in bounds.
Once again, a special thanks
and Megan Klingenberg with a quick reaction. Carly Lloyd and Katie Friels. There's Friels. Not too happy with that call. Level words with the ref.
Thank you, FC Copa.
We're about 5 minutes from halftime, 41st minute. A few added minutes for stoppage, maybe 1 to 2. Not a lot of stoppage in this game. Sky Blue breaking down the wing. Kelly O'Hare's running. Pressure by Jessa McDonald. Sorry, that was actually Killian. I apologize.
Thank you for your attention.
Lindsay Cutshaw with the pressure. Plays it out to Christine Rampone. 11 with the handle. Good pressure by Henderson. One thing about Houston, they have a lot of players with similar hairstyles and similar stature.
That they do. Good thing jersey numbers are out there for us.
Yeah. Maya Hayes plays over to Katie Friels. Katie Friels plays a wide ball. She was trying to play to a streaking Kelly O'Hare. It was picked off by Cardi Lloyd. Cardi Lloyd plays it in. Oh, high in chase. Grupka covering. Grupka plays it back to Cameron.
You see Cameron right there keeping a high line, giving an opportunity for Grupka to play it back to her pretty easily.
Yeah, a little barking at Grupka. Probably only positive reinforcement. We haven't had to say Grupka's name a lot because she's been doing such a great job of just preventing balls in her zone.
Certainly no easy thing to come in as a rookie defense in your first time playing as a professional.
You know, that's a very, would you say, pressure, not pressure situation. You get drafted, and a lot of these rookies are not sure if they're even going to make a team, but not only do you make the team, but you're in the starting 11 week 1 and week 2.
And you're playing next to Christy Rampone, and certainly you enjoy playing next to one of the all-time great defenders that we've had in this game, but at the same time, there could be an intimidation factor as well.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like that's been a factor.
No, it seems that made her play her game the way she played at Florida State, but even better. Some players are coming up to the occasion. She's definitely up for the occasion.
And they'll be hoping she can take a little bit of what she learns from Rampone and help her in a few weeks when Rampone's not here.
Cardi Lloyd in pursuit. Cutshaw with the pressure. He puts it wide to a high. Takes a deflection. That's another Houston Dash corner kick. Yeah, they get their first corner kick late, and now it's minutes as a Houston Dash corner kick.
Yeah, third one. Henderson going over to take it again. The last one was, I don't think exactly how they drew it up when they had their set piece practice.
So Houston's got all of their field players except the corner kick taker and 2 out of the box. They've got a lot of numbers in the box. Played in, headed out by Cutshaw. Henderson's there for the deflection. Klingenberg looks to put it back in. And Ashley Nix gets a little bit of a head on it, but it goes wide. Maya Hayes plays it off to a Nadia Nadame. If the ball gets to her, she's got a ton of space. It's a foot race. She's got 4 defenders closing in on her. She decides to dump. Played about a yard more. She would have been off to the races.
That play was on. Alicia Chapman got Nadia Nadim well on sides, but not enough Sky Blue players, and literally half the Dash team chased her down.
Yeah, she was just watching the ball, staying on side, and the ball just seemed to start dying too quick on her. Back to Cameron. Back to Grupka.
As a defender in those situations, you always have to be aware of what's happening on the opposite side of the field, because you do not want to be the reason that a dangerous attacker gets held on side and gets in on a breakaway.
We're just now entering the 45th minute. Maybe 1-2 minutes of stoppage. Not a lot of action. No injuries. Pretty clean first half.
Yeah, I don't see any reason for even 1 or 2. We'll see.
Can they do a half a minute, Dan?
Maybe they should. You know, second half, there's always the obligatory 2 minutes minimum.
Yeah.
But first half, a lot of times, they just put a lid on it at 45.
No, I remember back in, it was 2011. Atlanta beat at Philadelphia. No stoppage time first half. It's odd when you just see no stoppage time. It hits 45 on the clock on the scoreboard, and bang, the game's just halftime. But Houston with some pressure in the box. Ref weighs it off. No penalty. Grupka in there with the tackle. A lot of pressure. Brittany Cameron collects it in. Wow, that's a record.
If negative stoppage time.
Wow, we just mentioned we've never seen a game with no stoppage time. The clock was at 4:47, and it's halftime. So
I do see on the monitor next to me it's at 45:14.
Okay.
So as we know, the official time is kept on the field.
Exactly. So there we have it at the half, ladies and gentlemen. Sky Blue up 1-0 on a Katie Friels goal. Take it into the locker room. I'm here with Dan Laletta. I'm Charlie Flo, and thank you everybody tuning in so far. It's been a great match, a lot of action. You can't look at the scoreboard and say there hasn't been action.
No, it's been good. The team started off a little bit on the slower side. Sky Blue getting some defensive turnovers and getting themselves some opportunities in that regard in the dash. lot offensively, but they have the types of players, Carly Lloyd, Kaylee Ojai especially, who can make something happen pretty quickly and don't necessarily need a big build-up in order to do it.
Yeah, so we're here at halftime here, beautiful New Jersey. I'm here with Dan Laletta, I'm Charlie Flo, and we're here at halftime, and I think they got a little contest on the field where the fans can win some groceries. You know, the fans here are enjoying themselves. Been a pretty good crowd. It seems like throughout this game the crowd's gotten thicker as we've gone along.
Well, this is the 6th season of Sky Blue. There were 3 seasons, and then the year in between leagues, and now season number 6, and this is the most buzz that I can remember around this team going into a season.
Yeah, definitely a place to come now. Got to announce that this is the place to be. There is a beer garden here now.
Yeah, that's certainly a good thing. You want to bring in the true sports fans to this, and it's nice to get kids in, but we want to bring in the real sports fans and create new fans out of it.
And we're looking over the first half. What are some key players for Sky Blue and some key players for?
Before we do that, I believe Brittany Alvarado is standing on the field with Jim Gabera. Brittany?
FC would also like to wish a very happy birthday to Ava.
First with the beautiful goal by Katie Friels. What are some things you would like to have them improve on going into the second half?
Well, nowhere near good enough. I think getting forward in a counterattack forward a lot quicker, and then even in moments where it looks like we're going to lose possession, we're slow to react. So, there's a lot of areas that we still got to work on, but I think overall we've done a good job of protecting the middle of the field where Morgan Bryan are dangerous.
Any changes for the second half? Are we going to see Christy come back out?
We'll see. I got to check on her right now, so we'll see what happens.
Thank you, Coach.
That's Brittany Alvarado with Jim Gabera. That's another thing, too, is we've seen her with the leg wrap, and, there's got a lot of that respect thing for the U.S. that she has a World Cup coming up.
It's a tough call for a coach because you do not want to – it's a club team, and the club play is important. Let's not pretend that it isn't, but you do not want to get into a situation where you're sending damaged goods back to the national team for the World Cup, especially in a league like this, which is so dependent on those players who are part of the U.S. national.
And there are players on the bench with experience, and they do have a lead, so you do have that to factor in, too.
Absolutely. If ask me, I think she'll come back out. If she did 84 minutes 6 days ago, I think she's got another 15 to 30 minutes in her at least.
Yeah, if we know her, if the decision's up to her, she's going to say, no, I'm going back in.
And not a lot of, long track back sprints. So I think that she probably managed her time pretty well, and I think she'll be back out. But you never know.
On the Houston side, any players you think that just stuck out to you that, hey, this player's definitely having a really good game?
Well, it's nice to see Sesselman back out there, and she's been a factor in the defense. And she can get forward. She can play. She can play any spot on the back line. Really, she can play a lot of right back. So it's nice to see her out there. But not quite what I saw last week in Washington, which is not surprising because I didn't think the Spirit had their best game at all. I'd like to see Morgan Bryan get a little bit more into the mix attack-wise. And Carly Lloyd has had some forays, but maybe Carly Lloyd could make it happen in the second half. And Ojai's been aggressive but hasn't been able to really create anything dangerous. And I guess we're more impressed with Sky Blue than their coach is so far. Maybe he has to say that because he's going in and trying to make things better for the second half. But they really have defended well in the midfield and not given up really the dangerous space type plays that can do you in and stretch the defense.
Yeah, Jim Gabera's got a very similar job that he did last week, but he's got the home cooking tonight going for him.
Absolutely. And I also believe that, last week, the City was the better team for the first 20 minutes. I didn't see that tonight. I thought Sky Blue had the better of it for most of the 45.
Yeah, a lot of the ball play was played in Sky Blue's half, but when Sky Blue got possession, they really capitalized and put together a lot of plays where in the Kansas City game, they didn't get a lot of opportunities in that game to get in the box.
Right. Well, the thing that we've talked about is that Nadim had the one chance, and she had not much space at all to put between Barnhart and the crossbar. And 99 times out of 100 in this league and most leagues, that ball goes either high or it's a cross that goes through all the way to the far touchline by the corner flag. Nadim let it bounce, took one touch, and finished it. Not that dissimilar today. She gets the ball. O'Hara through, O'Hara crosses it to Friels. There's your goal.
Yeah, very few players in the world that can hit a ball like that, and that's why it's such a threat. Why we talked to Randy Waldron before the game that he's trying to not just pressure Nadim, but pressure everybody getting the ball to her.
And because she's so good when she gets it, that's not the time that you make your adjustments and defend her. You have to defend the ball coming into Nadia Nadim, and at that point, once she gets it, it could be control the midfield. And they haven't done a bad job. Nadim doesn't have that many dangerous touches, but she's got enough that she helped create.
Also on the Houston side, some players that we may see in the second half. Maybe Rachel Axon, the international from London, who's doing the switching with Ashley Nix. So definitely probably Axon coming in the second half for Houston.
I thought Nick had a pretty good half tracking down players. She was playing central, did a good job closing down, attacking players on each side. But Randy Waldrum did say that, yeah, Axon, pretty good chance with the subs that she'll get in. And again, the rosters this season are not deep, so there's not probably as much creativity in the substitution patterns as there will be with players in more depth here. Stephanie Roche, and they don't have Brittany Bach, and Ella Masser is a player they might be looking to protect tonight and not put out there, so there's not a whole lot available to some of these coaches sometimes.
Yeah, even on the Sky Blue side, a player that really impressed me in the preseason was. We're looking over at the Sky Blue goal there that Naughty to Dame set up that went over to Katie Friels on your replay screen. Definitely a good communication type of goal that you get from good preseason play and good carryover play, because you want to keep the win streak alive. That's a big thing right now with Sky Blue.
And the thing about Katie Friels is follow the play in. Don't always assume it's be Nadim or O'Hara that's going to score it. And as you look at that, that's not good marking by the Dash, because Friels had a ton of space right there in the middle of the 18.
Yeah, when you have such good communication and you have a lot of 1-2 play that confuses the defender. So Houston didn't look confused at all throughout the game, but on that play they really had a lot of confusion going on.
And one of the other things that Nadim does and Kelly O'Hara does is they don't do just one thing with the ball, so there's nothing too predictable about them. So that makes it that much more difficult to defend them, because they're not the types of players where you say, well, if you keep them from doing this move or that move, then you stop them. That's not the case, especially in the Nadim. She can pretty much do anything.
Yeah, very, I would say, predictable, unpredictable. We know she scores, but how she does it seems like it's different every single time she touches the ball.
Absolutely, and that will continue to help Sky Blue. You know, the secret's out of the bag this season, so she'll have to be on her toes, because she came into the league. I don't think too many people really knew who she was. She debuted here in that game against Kansas City. When she came on at halftime, they were down 4-0. She looked good, but almost anybody can look good when you're behind 4-0. And then after that, she started every game and had either a goal or an assist or both in every game, including, she left for the last 2 games, but including the game the other day, goal or an assist in every game she started for Sky Blue. But like I said, secret's out of the bag, so teams will be devising game plans to try to slow her down.
We don't want to jinx it, but Sky Blue's sitting on, if they win tonight, it'll be 7 in a row going back to last year.
That would tie the league record, believe it or not, over 2 seasons, so you can accept that as a full record if you want. It's up to you, but both Kansas City and Seattle had 7-game winning streaks, and Sky Blue, who was also the only team to ever have 2 different win streaks of 5 games or more, they have an opportunity to get to 7 in a row.
Yeah, definitely very important to keep the momentum, and especially a situation when you score first at home, you have to get the win.
I agree. And Sky Blue hasn't always been better at Yurcak than they have been elsewhere. Their record the first year was better. Last season they did better. I think partially a factor of when they were playing well, they had more away games than home games. But one of the areas of development for Sky Blue is to make this a difficult place to play. I don't think they've done that enough so far in their history.
Yeah, they've changed up a little bit. They have the Cloud9 fans that are actually near the beer garden, and the goal that where Aaron McLeod was in the first half, they're going to be set up there banging some drums. So they're mixing up a little bit. A lot of youth, a lot of teams here tonight, so trying to build up that atmosphere here.
Like I said, a lot of buzz around this team, both what they're doing on the field and off the field, and hopefully it's a very productive season for Sky Blue on both sides.
Yeah, definitely. Sky's but it seems like sky's the limit with this roster and a lot of players that might not have got respect in other teams and had a hard time fitting in. Jim Cabrera is such a good development coach in finding players that he can fit in his team.
When he coached the Freedom, and I'm going way back here, 2001, when he coached the Freedom.
Back when you and I had less gray hairs, right?
Emmy Barr and Skylar Little were the outside backs on that team, and he took a lot of heat for having them backs and keeping them as the outside backs, and he said he wanted to develop them, and he did, and 2 years later, they were the champions of WUSA. So you're right, he's very good with player development. He's also very loyal when he gets a player in that he likes. And don't forget, Caitlin Ford and Samantha Kerr could be here after the World Cup, and how much better do those 2 players make this team?
Yeah, that's interesting. I was talking with some people about that the other day, that they're still missing some big players, like with Kerr and Caitlin Ford, and in a way that Caitlin Ford can play defense. I mean, Jim Cabrera's going to have some good problems on his hands. Too many defenders.
There's no question about it. Now, you never know how players come out of the World Cup. It's a physical grind. It's a mental grind. So things can be for any player. on the other side of the World Cup as they are right now, but he's got some talented players in the pipeline.
Man, and going back, you don't know how the Australian players are going to play when they come back, but the fact that they've been together and played together so well, they're both coming together on the same page. It's not that they're coming from two different countries, but just being together, they already have a lot of chemistry together.
And they both had very good seasons a couple of years ago. In this league, Ford was a little bit slowed with an injury last season, but both those, they were both teenagers 2 years ago, 2013, so they're barely 20 years old. And they are very much the future for Australia. And if they can stay, if we can keep them in this league, that's a big positive for NWSL to have two players that good in this league.
Again, I'm with Dan Laletta. I'm Charlie Flo, and Sky Blue is up 1-0 at halftime on a Katie Friel's goal that was dumped in by on a play that none other than not even a Dame. Now, if we were talking about ice hockey, she would have gotten the assist.
Yeah, here it is again. If it was a two-assist league, you certainly give one to Nadim, but you see O'Hara get behind Chapman there. And again, way too much space there. Sesselman could have come over and marked Friel's a little bit better, and McLeod didn't have much of a chance on that. And a goal for Katie Friels, who, by the way, was part of that Brittany Cameron championship team in WPSL Elite. She was Katie Frierson back then, went by her maiden name.
Yeah, that's back when it seems like Aaron Lyons was winning a championship every year, but it was a different name of a league.
Yeah, 3 years, 3 leagues, and
Yep.
they went for 4, but they got as far as the final and lost to Portland 2 years ago.
So definitely the Flash is in a different state now, and we've got Houston, wouldn't call them an expansion team. They're a full team, a revamped team. They're full of stars, and interesting that Houston, had 15 losses last year, but you look at all those losses, and only about 3 of those losses, his team wasn't in them.
Yeah, they were tough. In the beginning of the season, they kept missing penalty kicks. I think these teams between them were 3 for 9 last year on penalties. The Dash were maybe 2 for 5 on penalties, and they were trying to get their first home goal, and Becky Edwards missed a penalty, and at some point I think Ella Masser missed a penalty, and so they just couldn't really get a grasp on things, and they had their back line that they had lined up was kind of sabotaged because Samashima got hurt, and Sesselman was hurt, and Brittany Bach gets hurt in the first game. Ohai got hurt in the first game, and it took her a while to get it back, even though she only missed, I think, 1 match. And then toward the end of the season, they just kind of faded away. This season, this team's a lot better. The big key for the Dash is can they get through the time when Lloyd is not there and Bryan's not there and Klingenberg is not there, and also can they defend? Because the back line is going to be, as I don't know how many times Randy Waldrum has said the word patchwork to me in the last month. It's a patchwork back line. If they can make it work, they can win, but they'll go about as far as that goes.
Yeah, we'll definitely see how Houston weathers the storm, the World Cup call-ups, and you always have to factor in different players we got the 2-week break, and then it'll go into the knockout stage. So that always has to be looked at as how far the team's going to go in the World Cup. When are you going to get your players back?
Right, and I can't seem to get a straight answer about when the players are due back, whether there's a set date for everybody. You don't want to have your players come in immediately after playing in the World Cup because, again, that's a big mental and physical grind, so you want to give them the ample time to get rested up. So that'll be interesting, and by the time we get to that point in the season, early July, this night will feel like years ago.
Yeah. So we're looking like the players are back on the field. You've got Sky Blue that'll be on when we come back up live. They'll be on your right-hand side going towards your left. Houston will be in the orange going on your left side to your right with the Katie Friel's goal at the half, 1-0 to Sky Blue in their home opener.
Trying to glance out and see, it looks like Christy Rampone is back on. Don't know if there's substitutes or
We
if there are
actually
any
see
substitutes.
Meg Morris has actually entered the field.
So
Meg
we will-
Morris is on the field, so it looks like she'll be in. Trying to see if she did a straight-up placement for Shauna Gordon, and she did not because Shauna Gordon is in.
Sesselman looks like she's coming on, or possibly not. But Sesselman is in uniform. We'll get it sorted out for you here in a few minutes.
Yeah, we have our first sub coming in for Houston also. It's like Oaks is going to be coming in.
Interesting fact about Oaks is that she's one of 3 players, and that is for Sesselman, who gave it a good 45, and Oaks, the converted center back from left back, where she had converted from forward. But Oaks is one of only 3 left. This will keep her streak alive at 48. One of 3 players to play in every match since this league started, and that's with 1 season in Washington and now Houston. The others are Kat Whitehill and Jen Buskowski, who I assume but haven't seen it officially is in the lineup tonight for Kansas City.
Yeah, I was definitely wondering about that because we had talked about that streak, and it is an amazing stat. And and it's not done to do her a favor. She earned that spot.
Yeah, and Whitehill's not going to make this season because she is she's the forgotten person who will miss time for the World Cup. She'll be part of the Fox broadcast team and will miss some breaker games.
So we're back underway here. Sky Blue holding a 1-0 lead on a have goal. Back in the action. Melissa Henderson wearing 21 dumps it off to Ashley Nick with a lot of pressure. Now all the players who are far away from us are close to us again. Katie Friel's on the ball. She's got options to her left with Shauna Gordon running the wing, and she dumps it off to Shauna Gordon. Chapman on the pressure. She's going to shield it. Does a great job on shielding it to make it a throw-in for Houston Dash.
Waldrum didn't want the Dash to start the first half slow, sitting back, and certainly down a goal now 45 minutes in. Won't want to see that in the second half.
We just heard over the PA confirm that Sesselman was pulled for the Dash.
Number 32, Meg Morris, replacing number 9, Nadia Nadim. Morris for Nadim.
And if you're Canada, if you're John Herdman, what better preparation to get back in game shape when you're not playing friendlies yourself than to be out here playing in this league? I know there's some differences of opinion about how much the World Cup players should play, but Sesselman is one that absolutely you can't come up with an argument why she shouldn't be out there in a good 45 again tonight.
Little softball back to Erin McLeod. She got Chapman way to her wide, and she puts a soft one onto Nikki Cross. Easy ball over to Chapman. Chapman plays it in. Nikki Cross fumbles a little bit. Maya Hayes in suit. Just misses. A long ball that McDonald handles. Plays over to Carly Lloyd, but a little too off. Kelly O'Hara interrupts it. Sarah Killian recovers. Over to Grubka. Grubka plays a long ball over Gordon's head. Might have been more of a desperation clear there than anything. It's a long ball by Cross. Cami Levin gets her head on it. Gets over to Ashley Nick. Intercepted by Cutshaw. Cutshaw's off to the races. She plays it wide. Meg Morris in pursuit and goes out of bounds. Makes me wonder if Notre Dame Nick's in there because it's unusual to not see her in there.
Yeah, we'll have to find out probably afterwards, but that's certainly a surprise.
Killian plays it back to Levin. Levin over to Rampone. Got a lot of space. She plays it wide over to Grubka. Rookie out of FSU. Over to Kelly O'Hare. Makes a move. Melissa Henderson intercepts it. Morgan Bryan plays a pass that was intercepted by Cutshaw. Shauna Gordon. Looks like there was a lot of pressure there. Ref keeps his whistle in his pocket.
Not too many calls tonight on the fouls. Couple of plays toward the end of the first half.
That's why we didn't get any stoppage time.
Yeah, that's why we had negative 12 seconds stoppage time.
Well, that'll be our useless trivia down the road, Dan. And played harmlessly for a goal kick for Brittany Cameron. And we definitely don't think that, Jim Cabrera is going to, let off the gas here because they're not a team that would park the bus traditionally.
No, it's way too early against a team that is
explosive.
Way too dangerous. If you ask me, around the world even really get into the mindset where they have to protect their lead from too early. There are times to do it, but I think most of the time.
Carly Lloyd on the run. She's got a streaking go high. Option, so she dumps it back to Ashley Nick.
Most of the time, you've got to be attacking in order to win, even if you're in
Ashley
front.
Nick wide to Chapman. Chapman takes a move, kicks a bump off from a Cutshaw intercepts. Kelly O'Hare plays a long ball that Nikki Cross intercepts. Nikki Cross plays a ball then, deflected by Christine Rampone. Mike Houston's playing a lot of long balls in. I don't know if they're abandoning their short game. Long ball by McLeod. And knocked out by Kelly O'Hare. Here's some bleeding in. Looks like the drums are going well for Cloud 9. We can hear them.
It's nice to get some atmosphere in the place. It helps. I don't think people realize sometimes how much it helps the people who are not in the stadium when they're watching it to make it seem like it's a not to make it seem like, but to give themselves an idea that this is a fun place to be and a good night time.
Hard foul on against Sky Blue. Looks like Katie Friels is knocked down there. Seems to be okay. Gingerly walking. Killian plays a long ball to Cam 11. Rampone. A little nervous there. Ball looks like it was a no man's land for her, but she takes advantage. Hits it long. Oh, high collects. She's got a streaking Henderson. Kelly O'Hare has got pressure. She plays it long. Getting a lot of ping action, a lot of back and forth right now. No one seemed to establish herself in this half. We're early on. We're just entered the 52nd minute.
Word from the bench about Nadim is that she's got some ice up around her groin area and that she did not appear too thrilled coming out of the locker room.
And Morgan Brown plays a threatening ball in, and that's a goal. Looks like Jessa McDonald got her thigh or knee on it. We are level at 1-1 in the 52nd minute. Houston Dash is on the board.
Well, there you go. When you have players who are capable of making things happen very quickly, those are the kind of goals you have. I think Brittany Cameron will look at that one on tape and realize that she got caught in the middle as to whether to come out and challenge her to the brand new game 1-1.
Her first goal of the season.
And it might have been going in off Bryan, too.
Morgan Bryan.
Well, they're credited to Morgan Bryan. Hard to see if Jessica McDonald, even if she didn't get a touch, she did a great job of distracting and putting pressure on Cameron.
Yeah, they did give the goal to McDonald with the Bryan assist. So it's 1-1, and a lot of the good work Sky Blue did in the first half is undone.
Shauna Gordon with some space. She hesitates. She tries to loop a ball into Maya Hayes. Still alive in the box. Cleared out for a Sky Blue throw in deep in the zone. Kelly O'Hare's looking to put a long throw in here to the box. Puts it into Katie Friels. She plays it back. Katie Friels still with the ball. So she's taken down definitely a foul. So we've got a very threatening kick about 20 yards outside the 18-yard box.
No, that was the hardest foul of the game for sure, and this is kind of a glorified corner kick, just a couple of yards inward.
Yeah, definitely look for an in-swinger here with Katie Friels over top of the ball. Scored a beautiful one-timer direct kick against Rutgers in their last preseason game. So she's definitely going to be looking to put it near frame, maybe around the 6-yard box.
Only a ball for the Dash.
Plays it just over the 6-yard box, still in the air. Got some jostling going along in the box, so it's going to be Houston ball.
There's still time to get your official Sky Blue FC gear and our merchandise tent.
Looks like on that play, Gordon got a little too physical trying to get position for the second ball.
Carly Lloyd plays a long ball into McDonald. Rampone heads it out. Nifty little moves by Sarah Killian. She maintains possession, dumps it off to Levin. Levin's got options with Meg Morris in front of her to her right and Maya Hayes to her left. Plays over to Meg Morris, but there's an offsides call.
The offsides calls are never popular with coaches and attacking players. That one might have been a little bit premature. Hard to tell from our angle, though.
Yeah, it looks like before he even came in, it was already called and didn't really chance for play to develop. But got to respect the call. Cross with the ball. Looking over options. She plays a long one in. Trying to hit a streaking Morgan Bryan. Grufko settles it. Dumps it off. Little miscue over. Cutshaw tries to save it.
That's not the ball you want to be giving to Carly Lloyd in that spot.
Morgan Bryan plays a wide ball. She got Klingenberg. Plays it back to Morgan. Nick looks over to Chapman. Chapman plays a ball that's almost turned over. Forces Oak to make a long run in. Morgan back over to Klingenberg. Klingenberg plays it in the box. A glancing header by Henderson just over the bar.
Certainly a better start for the Dash in the second half than what they showed in the first.
Yeah, definitely putting tons of pressure on Sky Blue. Looks like Brittany Cameron's taking her time. We've got another summon, and it's Ella Masser coming in. And I believe she's wearing the mask because she took a hard ball off the face last week.
And she's in for Henderson, so we'll see how this shakes things up. Looks like at the moment that Masser's in the right back spot.
So Masser getting action early on. Goes in, plays a left-footed ball back to McLeod. McLeod keeps it out of bounds. The lucky fan in row 5's got a ball.
And Alicia Chapman is pushed up into the midfield. So Randy Waldrum shaking things up here. He's already got the goal to equalize this one. And he's 2 subs into his 3 available to him now.
Cutshaw moving in. Looks like they have Olive over the back there, so that's going to be Houston ball. I guess Ella Masser forgot she was left or right back there. She takes it. She almost overran the ball.
Well, one thing about Ella Masser, she is as aggressive a player as there is in this league.
Definitely Shauna Gordon's got her challenges there. She's definitely going to physical her up. If that's even a word.
It is now.
No, we've seen that Ella Masser plays very tough and hard, and you can just look at the differences in frames. And Gordon's got a different size frame. She's more of a streaky player who's going to put in crosses, where Ella Masser is going to body you up.
Sometimes too much. One of the concerns putting her in back was the yellow card. She got 4 last season as a forward. And obviously forwards have much less of a need or an opportunity to foul people. And she did get a yellow card against Washington last week. And if you watched it, I thought it was a soft call, but it was also a foul that was committed in a place on the field and at a time in the match that was completely unnecessary to even take a chance.
Yeah, it's tough when you get beat like that. A lot of the frustrations are, but Houston's got the ball in the box. Little double team, little triple team. Houston's still trying to maintain possession. Meg Morse gets it off to Levin. Levin plays it over to Hayes. Hayes with a great handle there. She's got options to her left. She's got a streaking Gordon. She plays it into Gordon. Gordon and Masser, one-on-one here. What a great ball in by Hayes. Just a tiny bit too hard. I like the work there between Hayes and Gordon. A lot of good communication going on there.
Yeah, McLeod read it well. Otherwise, that's a ball right in for a breakaway, or at least a one-time chance.
Katie Freels with a shot. She tries to take a long ball because McLeod was off her line. Not a problem.
We saw her do that to Karina LeBlanc last year.
Yeah.
It might have been Taylor Vansel, but she did it, I believe, had a big goal from distance against the Red Stars.
Yeah, definitely sometimes it's good to see if the keeper's awake. I mean, I don't think Erin McLeod would ever fall asleep on her line, but sometimes you just got to see what's going to happen. Enfield's on the challenge. McLeod dumps it in. Ball's in the air, collected by Cutshaw.
And one thing we know about soccer is we should wait to see how this dash attack plays out.
Ashley Nick with the ball, looking for option, dumps it off to Klingenberg. Klingenberg was then pursued by Megan Morse, puts it off to Chapman. She plays a right-footed ball into the box. It's like a glancing header that was, looks like maybe Grubka got a little bit of piece on that, but Cameron collects it.
What I was saying earlier, one thing about soccer is, Charlie, it is a 90-minute game. So something you do in the 10th or 20th minute might not work. It might not look like it's working, but it might have an impact on what your opponent does in the 70th and 80th minute and allow you to do something that leads to a goal then, because you got something in the keeper's head or in a defender's head about what you might be able to do.
Yeah, we've still got a lot of time in this game. We're just getting ready to enter into the 40 minutes left in this game. So, yeah, what's worked 10 minutes didn't work. 12th minute could work in the 90th minute. So I think this is a very wide open game. It's anybody's game. It's up for the grab right here. 2 points in the balance. Ella Masser plays it over to Carly Lloyd. Lloyd looks for Jessica McDonald. Grufka picks it off with help from O'Hare. Cutshaw plays a nice ball into Katie Fields. Definitely a foul on Ella Masser. Wasn't a bad foul, but she hands on her and put a little grab.
And again, that's not, when you're the right back, that's not the spot on the field that you want to be committing those fouls. And once you get into card trouble, and there's nothing in this league that wipes away cards, and you don't want to get suspended, but maybe worse than that, you don't want to play passively because you're trying to.
Definitely. So you have to also remember where you are on the field. You know, you make a foul like that, and the offensive zone, it's not as big a deal, but when you're the last man, you don't want to be beat.
Fans, it's the last call for the
And there are
Sky Blue
times
FC
that the right
Beer
play
Garden.
is to take a card.
Fans 21 and older, the beer garden
So you
will
need
be
to,
closing down in the
for
70th
lack of a better
minute.
expression,
If
you
you'd
need
like
to save
make
your
one
cards
last
that you're
trip
allowed
tonight.
before you get
As
hit for a
always,
game
if you do
suspension
choose
for
to
the
drink
times you need them.
alcoholic beverages,
And it's very
please
crucial.
do
You have to also
so
look at these cards carry more weight.
Thank
When
you.
World Cup players are gone, you're going to be even more desperate for players.
Absolutely.
So definitely some action on the Sky Blue sideline. I just glanced over and see the Sky Blue players warming up.
That's probably a little bit more serious than when we saw the Dash players up in the first half.
Yeah, things have changed now that Jim Cabert's not going to be satisfied with the draw tonight.
I would agree with that.
Remember, fans, the Olive Garden
Morgan
in
Bryan with
Piscataway
possession.
is a friend of Sky Blue
Looking over her
FC.
options.
It's a great place for lunch
Plays it
or
over to
dinner
Ashley
before
Nick.
the game. Be
Ashley
sure
Nick
to
over to
visit the Olive
Masser,
Garden on
who's
Centennial
playing the right back
Drive
position. You don't have to adjust your screen. She is playing right back for the second week in a row. But not only playing right back, but she might have the freedom to move up a little bit. And we see her creeping up. That it's definitely a threatening right back there. Cross calmly collects it. Takes a couple touches into the center circle. Plays a right-footed pass. Chapman. And a miscue. Cutshall recovered. She plays a long ball just kind of into space. There was nobody there. Little miscommunication.
She could have had Hayes getting through, but the ball was not in the place that Hayes was about to head into.
McLeod pushes it up. Definitely I've noticed that Houston, after the goal, seems even more hungry now that they've opened up their scoring account on the road.
Should be an interesting half hour or so.
Ella Masser settles in. So I'm curious if Ella Masser is going to keep the mask on for post-game interviews.
Well, I suppose we've got about 40 minutes to find that out, to find that answer. If I were Sky Blue, I'd be, every time Ella Masser gets the ball, you see Shauna Gordon's with her right now, I would have Shauna Gordon go up and press Ella Masser every time she gets the ball at
Just
her
force
feet.
the issue on that side.
No question about it.
So if you're just joining us, we're in the 63rd minute. It is a 1-1 game. Katie Friel's got the goal in the first half for Sky Blue. In the second half, early moments of the second half, it was tied up by a Jessica McDonald goal from Morgan Bryan. Kelly O'Hare in pursuit in the box. A lot of pressure on. And it's going to dribble out of bounds for a goal kick. Actually, excuse me, looks like a corner kick for Sky Blue.
First one for them, I believe.
Got Friels lining up to take it. You got Meg Moore sitting right on top of Erin McLeod. Plays in an in-swinger. And cleared out by Jessica McDonald, but recovered by, looks like Kelly O'Hare, and played in. Ball deflected. Carly Lloyd with the ball. She plays it in. She's got a couple streaking players. Morgan Bryan. Meg Morse on her very tightly. She plays a right-footed cross outside the box. Gobbled up. Sky Blue loses possession. Now back over to Houston.
A little bit more of that giving up possession in the wrong parts of the field for Sky Blue. We saw Morgan Bryan create a goal out of very little. And again.
Ashley Nick plays it back to Cross. Cross with some pressure from Maya Hayes. Morgan Bryan looks over option, plays it up to Klingenberg. Klingenberg pursuing in, going across the field in a lateral motion, plays it over to Ohio. She's got Ella Masser running an overlapper. She decides to play a cross in. Grubka kicks it out over to Levin. Levin clears. But, so we've got a battle right here. Ohio comes out. Ohio has a chance, but dispossessed by Grubka. Gordon, with a soft pass, is picked off by none other than Carly Lloyd. Take the left-footed blast, about 2 feet wide, 3 feet wide. Definitely when it came off her foot, looked like it was going on goal.
That's the one. We said it in the first half. That's last week. And you need times. You need times when you have a player who can score a goal just like that, not have to do all the work.
Yeah, very dangerous situation when you turn over a ball in your own third and the player that gets it's Carly Lloyd. You're in trouble right away. Killing with her options. Puts it back to Rampone, who is still out there. Plays a deep ball into Shauna Gordon, but Masser bodies her up. Gordon putting some light pressure on Nikki Cross, who Nikki Cross just dumps it back harmlessly to Aaron McLeod.
Looks like Labonta standing at with the fourth official getting ready to come in, and I see the board, so Christy Rampone may have called time on this one.
So Labonta, the rookie coming in, another rookie contributing to this Sky Blue effort this season. Definitely a player that came in and made a lot of good moves in the preseason. Definitely earned her spot on this roster.
So Sky Blue is up 1-0 at halftime. They came out without their best attacker. Their best defender will come off at the next stoppage. And it's 1-1. So they've got their work cut out for them to get out of here with the 3 points that they were going to want, having a 1-0 lead at the half.
Ball played in. Houston maintained a lot of possession here since they've scored. Played into Morgan Bryan. Klingenberg puts it back.
And a little bit like last week with Masser and Oaks, the players who are not used to being in the back line. If the game looks like this, it doesn't much matter who's in the back line if you've got all the possession and you're playing the entire match in the attacking half of the field.
Definitely a ball played in that Nikki Cross handles. Tries to play it in to Carly Lloyd, but Cutshaw picks it off. Cutshaw makes a nice nifty move over Carly Lloyd, and then Shauna Gordon plays a ball that is picked off eventually by Ojai. Ojai plays it to Jessica McDonald. Flag stays down. Everybody's on sides. McDonald with a cross in and deflected out of bounds by Rampone. Any other player might have been nervous it was an own goal, but Rampone knew what she was doing.
And Jim Gabera is going to pull the trigger on the substitute before the defensive corner.
And it is Rampone coming off, and Labonta will be entering. Number 42.
Same substitution they made last week. That was in the 84th minute, though, in Kansas City. So here's Labonta into the fire in a 1-1 game, and right off the bat, she's got to defend a corner.
Sky Blue substitution coming on is number 42, Lo
It's an in-swinger
Labonta.
in, near post. Don't think it actually even came in, so it hit side netting. That'll be a goal kick for Sky Blue. Brittany Cameron looks like she'll be taking it. She just got Cutshaw for the short corner.
Rampone, Sky Blue FC.
Plays it over to O'Hare. A little screaming and it's picked Chapman. Chapman plays a 1-2 to Bryan. Chapman back with the ball. She's got numbers. She plays it in. Picks it off. And Labonta getting her first touches of the night.
Ojai was making a nice run there. Lucky for Sky Blue, that didn't sneak through.
And we got a battle over there in the corner. Cammie Levin and Morgan Bryan, and ref calls foul on Morgan Bryan.
He wishes to thank the Atlantic Club for hosting our preseason indoor training sessions with locations in Manasquan and Red Bank. The Atlantic Club is more than just a
Vrupka
fitness
plays a
center.
softball back to Brittany Cameron. Cutshaw with the shiny boots looking over her options. Mid-range ball was trying to Hayes' direction. Got a chest on it. It's up with possession to Katie Friels, and she dumps it back to Killian. And just a little bit too hard for Cammie Levin. Nick plays it back. Klingenberg. Houston hits the reset button. Back to the keeper. Over to Masser. To Cross. Plays the ball into Klingenberg, over to Morgan Bryan. Morgan Bryan pressing. She dumps a little harmless pass in. Cameron collects. We're approaching the 71st minute here with Sky Blue and Houston 1-1. Sky Blue went up early in the game with a Katie Friels goal. And just after the half, Houston leveled it up with a McDonald goal. So right now sitting on anybody's game with about 30 minutes to go.
And again, Nadia Nadim did not come back on the field after halftime. She's on the bench. Seems like it might be a minor injury.
Gordon plays a ball in. She was trying to hit a streaking Maya Hayes. Carly Lloyd dumps it off, trying to hit Jessica McDonald. Went out of bounds.
And losing Nadim could be a game changer.
Some nifty moves from the rookie out of UCLA, Sarah Killian. Krupka looking over options, decides to just dump it over wide. Cutshaw looking, sees Meg Morse. Meg Morse collects. Ashley Nick with a hard tackle, but collects the ball. Over to Aaron McLeod. It's a long ball in that none other than Grufka just heads it out.
I was getting ready to say that it's curious about Kelly O'Hara. Do you want to keep her in the back with the young players, or do you want to move her up where she can score? And for a moment, it looked like her and Gordon switched, but
something
now it's
developing
back.
here. High in the box. Takes a little right-footed pass. Kind of one-timed off of Carly. Looks like she was trying to get one-timer and it just went underneath her foot. Sometimes you just got to take the whack at it because she connects on that, and that went in the back of the net.
That's 3 times she's tried it tonight. Hasn't been particularly close on either. I said earlier you want her taking it 100% of the time. I'd have to drop that percentage a little bit, but she's certainly capable from there.
Carly gets up for the challenge, wins the header. The long ball played in, offside.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? We found the winner of the parking raffle prize. The prize is a Sky Blue FC scarf. And if you have a blue ticket in your hand, we'll ask you to get it out at this time. And we'll try to determine.
And there's Cameron with the ball
winner.
looking over options. She sees
If
Killian.
you're holding on to the blue raffle ticket,
She's going to turn a fire pass over to Levin.
2645. That's 859.
Levin looks at Grubka. Grubka swings it over to Cameron.
Congratulations, you're the winner of the parking
Little floater
raffle.
to cut.
Claim your
The BYU
Blue
products
FC
looking over her
scarf
options.
at the box office. 859.
Dangerous ball there to Grubka.
645. You're tonight's winner. Head to the box
And this is a big
office.
turnover. Jess
Pick up
McDonald
your
in the box
prize.
with the ball with a right-footed shot. Bounces just wide right.
They got the flag toward the corner, so it looks like Cameron got a piece of that. That is a very poor ball by Lindsay Cutshall that started that off. Must play confident balls out of the back.
Yeah, Kristen Grubka was definitely put in that no man's land that she had to commit to the ball or mark the player. Fortunate it did not lead to a goal. It's an in-swinger, dash, headed out. One-timer back in the box. It's going to float over. And that's a goal kick for Sky Blue.
Fans, look sharp and support your club.
Cameron
by
plays it
wearing
over
the
Grubka.
latest
Grubka
jerseys,
plays it right back
shirts,
to
and other
Cameron.
attire
And
of
they decide to
your
work
favorite
the side
club.
with
Visit
Cutshaw.
NWSLshop.com.
Cuts over the line, trying to hit Gordon. Takes a header by Ella Masser. So it's a deep throw in for Sky Blue into Maya Hayes. Maya Hayes dribbling near the corner and cross rides it out of bounds. Looks like Maya Hayes might have a cramp there. She's slow to get up.
Only one substitution left for each side, so
And I see looks like one player on the sideline for Sky Blue warming up. A couple players standing around. Not a lot of action on either bench. Just some stretching going on, but not a lot of running. McLeod. Carlo with a flicker. Flag comes up. We were off the races. It was going to be a 1v1 with Ohio going against Cameron, but the offside flag comes up.
that one was close. Sky Blue is living dangerously back there now. That's 2 offsides on Ohio. Minutes.
And a little flicker on. Hayes gets it, tries to make a turn, plays it back to Friels. Friels tries to go one-on-one. Carter picks it off. Meg Morse recovers it for Sky Blue. Cutshaw in. Gordon handles, taps it over. One-timer over to Ohio, but knocked out of bounds. But Sky Blue maintaining some possession here, pushing in. Looking to retake the lead. Played into Gordon. Gordon was triple team, loses the ball. Nick in pursuit. Morgan Bryan taking left foot touch, right foot touch, and then looking for options, passes it off. Tried to play it to Jess McDonald, but just a little too hard. Back to Cutshaw. Killian. Killian puts it to O'Hare. O'Hare makes a nice move, blows by Ojai, off to the races. A light pass that was deflected out of bounds by Carly Lloyd.
Ojai has not been much of a match on the defensive side of the ball tonight against O'Hara.
No, O'Hara definitely put a move on her and was off to the races. A little shoving there by Ellen Master and Gordon. Plays it into Katie Friel's feet. Katie Friels maintains possession. Plays it back to O'Hare. It's deflected out by Ojai. Ojai with a loop. Katie Friels with a looper into Maya Hayes. Almost broke through. McLeod over to Oakes. Oakes looks for Cross. Cross attempts to play a long ball to Ojai. Handles it very well near the midfield line. Ella Massa plays it over to Ashley. Nick dribbling towards the center circle. Plays a left foot across that's picked off, almost picked off by Labonta. Klingenberg plays it over. A little miscommunication by Dash players. Ref says play on. Meg Moore sends a long ball to Hayes. Offside.
And that one was not close.
Yeah. Can't sugarcoat that one. That was an offside.
You can see the Dash looking like Sky Blue did in the first half, though, spending a lot of time with only their center backs and the keeper.
McLeod plays a ball that's going to end up in about the first row.
Be sure to support our official club partner.
Here comes the last Sky Blue sub.
KKLS is having their third annual event here on May 31st.
Gordon's going to take a break. Heck of a game out of her. A solid 7.5 minutes.
Fight Lou Gehrig's disease.
We've got some players switching on the field. Looks like Abanta is going to be shifting. She collects the ball. And that's a flicker in. Sky Blue threatening. Oaks covering. Oaks plays it off. A little too hard for Carly Lloyd, so Grubb can take advantage. She tries to float it in to Meg Morris. Meg Morris plays the ball, then Ojai picks off.
In the 78th minute.
I've also noticed here that the wind is actually really starting to pick up in the stadium.
It just started to come in the last minute here.
We've got another sub coming up for Houston. You see a player.
Looks like Tiffany McCarty.
Morgan Bryan, or Klingenberg, plays it into the box for a dash, and definitely a foul there. Can't see. I think that's Grupp that's down.
Looks like a Dash player a little bit slow to get up, too.
Looks like that was Jessa McDonald getting there. Definitely a collision course to injury, but both players walk away just.
They're gonna pull the trigger on the sub.
Yeah, Tiffany McCarthy is going to be coming in. Coming in for Houston.
Looks like Chapman coming off.
Funny to say, Dan, but every time it seems as a substitute, it's an international player.
Yeah, and this Randy Waldrum is obviously not sitting on this 1-1 draw here. He's bringing in the offense.
No, we've got about 10 minutes and some change, depending on what we're going to have for stoppage. So a very in-the-bounce game, anybody's game. A lot of talented players out there that can do some great things and great moments. The ball's going to go out of bounds for a goal kick. Yeah, it's a very interesting game that you said, Dan. I think neither team gets satisfied with just 1-1 because it's not a type of match now where it seems to just knock around. Both teams are making forward runs.
And it's funny how things change for the Dash. They are so much more confident than they were at pretty much any point of 2014. And here they are, 1-0. They clawed back from behind 1-1. They don't have to deal with Nadim anymore, but they're thinking about getting this second goal and going home with 3 points.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Randy would definitely, and his crew would be very satisfied with 3 points tonight, but definitely would be a little bit of satisfaction going on the road and getting a point in a tough.
And they had probably their best game of last season was here when they beat Sky Blue 3-0. It was Whitney Engen's debut game for the club, and the first time they had a shutout, and it was into June before that happened.
Yeah, and even in their franchise, their first ever win. So Houston was an interesting team last year. Didn't get a lot of wins, but knew how to play well on the road.
Only 2 wins at home. And you want to win, you want to get results at home to keep the fans coming back and keep them interested.
I wonder if the fan that got involved there. That's a Sky Blue throw-in. Sky Blue back at it. Looking to take the lead. Just entered the 82nd minute. We got a 1-1 game here in New Jersey. I'm with Dan Laletta. I'm Charlie Flo, and thanks for joining us. And we're going to come down to the wire here.
Rose Singh and Katie Degatano. Once again, the winners are Lauren W.
Cameron looking over her options. I think she's going to play a very long ball here. Plays a long crossover to O'Hare. O'Hare's got pressure from Ella Masser coming in.
Claim your prize. Congratulations on being winners in our halftime tennis ball.
O'Hare plays a long ball.
That's well played defensively by the Dash to close down O'Hara and eventually force that turnover.
And cross, they play it softly back to McLeod.
And it does look like Cutshall has been spending some time in central defense now. The Caesars up in the midfield. So both teams have changed things around quite a bit as far as their shape and positions are concerned since we started.
Yeah, I don't even remember how we started, Dan. But we're coming down to the wire. This is definitely a good one. It's like Katie Friels has got some numbers. She's going to be pushing it up. She's got fresh legs in front of her. Passes to Morgan Bryan, collects it. Labonta gets a head on it. I think the wind is definitely going to be. A lot of these balls that are going there aren't exactly getting where the players are intending them to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, SBFC.
Well, these are teams that, for the most part, prefer to keep the ball on the ground. So that should take some of the wind factor out of it. But still, once the ball goes up in the air, if the wind is blowing, it can be a factor. And there's not a lot around here. There's bleachers on one side, but the other 3 sides are open. So when it does get windy, there's nothing to block the wind here at Yurcak.
Cross of the ball. Nick gets the ball over to Masser. Megan Morris with a lot of space plays it over to Labonta. Labonta making a 4. Still pushing. She's being pursued by Jessica McDonald. Still maintains possession. Ella Masser pokes it away, but Katie Freer recovers. Jessica McDonald dispossesses over to Carly Lloyd. She does a nifty little fake. Another fake.
Be sure to stick around after
plays it wide.
Player autographs, which will be conducted
ball in that's intercepted by Cutshall. Oakes sets it over to Klingenberg. McCarthy finally involved in the game. This may be her first touch of the game. In the box, McCarthy makes a nifty move, plays it over. Looks like it was Cutshall that got a little bit of her left, knock it wide for a corner.
McCarty, by the way, that 3-0 win for the Dash here last year. McCarty had 2 of those 3 goals. She was part of that first round in 2013 with Cutshall. That was when the Spirit took her and left her unprotected for the expansion draft, and Randy Waldron pounced on her.
Houston with a ton of numbers in the box, looking for the in-swinger. Ball played in. Knocked wide. Looks like Nikki Cross got a little bit of a head on it and knocked it out of bounds.
Yeah, she was disappointed about that. Got her head on it, but did not put it on frame.
It was interesting. The second you were talking about McCarty scoring the goal, she was making a run to the center field to be the last defender. It's a long ball, Cami Levin. Aaron McLeod way outside of her box, plays it out. Cami recovers. Got no foul. Ref lets play on.
On the concourse at this time.
Maya Hayes dumps it back to Cameron. 5 minutes remaining in this match, plus stoppage. Cutshaw.
I'll be honest, I have not seen anything out of Sky Blue in the last 5 or 10 minutes that indicates they have it in them to get the second goal.
Yeah, definitely have turned into more of a defensive effort on Sky Blue, where Houston is definitely pressing to get that win and get the 3 points and go home. Klingenberg with a left-footed cross, puts it in, just hit in, bounces over. Jess McDonald definitely frustrated herself, thought she had a goal. But
4 minutes ago, and I guess that took a deflection off somebody in blue.
I'm glad I'm not a ref, Dan. I would have gotten that call wrong.
Well, we'd be a lot closer as the referee, so hopefully we would have point.
Lining up our corner, looking for the left-footed in-swinger. Houston's packing in all their players in the box. Looks like O'Hare gets a tiny fleck on it. And McCarty just over the bar.
That's a nice ball in by Klingenberg off the cleared corner kick.
McCarty wants that one back. Any other time, she probably puts that in for a goal. O'Hare off to the races, puts a long ball in to space. Houston recovers it. Ella Masser takes a couple nifty fakes, plays it back to Cross.
There you go. They put the pressure on Masser, and they looks like they might get a turnover out of it. Maybe not.
Masser with a long one-timer cross in. Jess McDonald off to the races. And looks like it's going to be a dash throwing deep in the zone. Throw in McCarty covers. Pressure. McDonald plays it into a high. Fumbles it. Carly Lloyd takes a fake. Looks to take the left-footed shot. Takes another deflection. Anytime you give Carly Lloyd that type of space in a box, it's probably going on goal.
And the corner kicks are piling up for Houston as we come to 3 minutes from the 90 mark.
Houston with, seems like different set pieces every corner kick. A short one.
Looks like Oaks was coming over to take it, and they just played it to her short instead.
Carly Lloyd with a play in. Deflector, and Cameron with a huge diving save. Definitely headed into the back of the net.
Tell you what, Sky Blue might not be happy with a point, but I think they would take the final whistle right about now.
Yeah, even just a timeout if there was such a thing in soccer.
No more subs to mix things up. And this is going to be Oaks on the corner kick.
Left-footed kick in, near post, headed out. But Killian stays in bounds for a throw-in. Sorry, went out of bounds, throw-in. Oaks is on the throw-in. Loops it up to McCarthy. Cross collects. Header by Jess McDonald goes wide.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? With the owner of the car with the following license plate, please move your vehicle at this time. New Jersey plates G60 ECY.
Well, I don't have a Jersey plate, either do you, Dan, so we're both safe.
That's true.
I come from Pennsylvania, you come from New York. We meet in the middle and we call a game in Jersey.
At this time, we need you to move your vehicle. Thank you.
Lindsay Cutshaw plays a long looping ball, crosses on it.
Killian down at midfield.
Cutshaw plays it back to Cameron. Cameron plays a left-footed looper. McCarthy underneath it. Plays it over to McDonald. Meg Morris in pursuit. And Grubka kicks a long clearance.
I didn't see what happened to Killian, but she's trying to walk it off. Looks to be pretty fine now. No more subs, so these are the 11 both teams have for the rest of the way.
Definitely come down to the wire here tonight. We've got a 1-1 match. Home opener for Sky Blue. First road game for Houston Dash in week 2 of the NWSL. Kelly O'Hare in pursuit. Doesn't come up. McCarthy with the ball. She's got room. She takes a little bit of a tumble there. What we would call a good professional foul. Prevented the breakaway.
And out comes the yellow card. First of the match.
A yellow card caution has been issued to Sky Blue, number 10, Katie Friels.
Originally looked like that Masser was going to take it, but she's not going to take it. They're going to put Masser in this. Naturally a forward, so you definitely want her in the box for this set piece. Can't get out of my mouth. Running out of time here.
2 minutes. Not a lot for second half.
Oh, high over the ball. Long ball in, dribbles in. Looked like it was going to be a long ball, but it took a little bit of a dribble. She might have hit some turf there.
Yeah, Dash have not taken good set pieces tonight.
Looking for a streaking LeBon. Dive into the turf.
The fourth official has indicated that a minimum of 2 minutes will be added in extra time. 2 minutes.
Labonta with the ball. Referee just called 2-minute stoppage. Took a long shot there from about 30 yards out.
Sometimes the right play is to just hold on to the ball and wait for teammates and wait for something to develop. The urge is always there, though, at the end of the match to try and make something spectacular happen.
Yeah, the temptation is always there. You want to be the hero. You want to be that play that scored and not it.
In that particular case, the effort was far off the mark.
Challenge on. Headed back. Labonta in for the challenge. Ellen Masser. Ellen Masser plays it. I think the referee's going to call a foul there, or maybe a handball. I think the latter players are indicating handball or something. Trying to get the game ball. We're running out of time. We've got 2 balls on the pitch right now. Kelly O'Hare sitting over. Going to put a ball in. Puts the ball in. Dribbles. Still alive.
Way out for that.
And McLeod just easily collects it after.
McLeod came far out and didn't have enough room to get to where that ball was going. Got away with one.
Carly Lloyd dribbling just past midfield. Hits so high. Over to McCarty. She's got an overlapping running. Carly Lloyd. Great tackle by Labonta. Down to the last dying seconds of the match. Ella Master. This may be the last play of the game. Ashley Nick plays it over. Oakes plays a long left foot across in, which Kelly O'Hare heads out for what would be a corner. Seems that we've gone past the 90, getting into 93.5 minutes now. About 92.5 minutes. Morgan Bryan with the out swinging corner kick. Headed out by Meg Morris. Collected by Klingenberg. Klingenberg loops it in. Goes over. And there's the final whistle here. Sky Blue 1-1. Houston Dash home opener. Both teams still are undefeated. Both teams sit on 4 points. Not a match that Jim Cabrera would have won. He probably wanted 3. Sky Blue wanted definitely all 3 points. But a good match overall. You'll take a tie.
Well, I think the concern for Sky Blue is how is Nadi and Nadim. You can live with maybe only getting a point where you think you should have gotten 3, but if your best attacking player and your best scoring option is going to be out for any length of time, that certainly can be a problem. And I don't know that any team could be happier with the start to their season league-wide than the Dash. They finished last season on a very poor note. They lost their last whole bunch of games, and they come in this season, they dominate the Spirit in the opener, and then they come here and grind out a 1-1 draw against Sky Blue. And they had Sky Blue's back, so they may be thinking they should have also gotten 3. But I don't think the Dash could have scripted a better start to their season.
No, not at all. I mean, Randy Waldrum, we knew it. He was a great coach. He's been a well-known coach, winning national championship in Notre Dame. You know, he's been a coach that's been very well respected. So I think it was a matter of just giving him a good full off season to get the players that he wants, and it seems that he's got the players he wants.
They're also sitting back quite a bit more. Last year he kind of brought his college formation in with him, and they wound up playing a lot of real high press 4-3-3 stuff, and this year he wanted to do something a little bit more traditional, and he sat back a lot last week, and I wondered, is that the new Houston Dash, or was that just because they had the lead? They only had a multi-goal lead last year one time. That was here, and then they had one again last week, but they really played kind of a methodic match tonight. Even when they were 1-1, even a little bit, or started the second half when they were down 1 goal, they didn't push the envelope, so it's a very, very different team this year.
Yeah, definitely a team that has grown and experienced a lot, and I think experiencing those losses are bad, but the team did a lot of growing last year. A lot of growing on the road, a lot of growing at home, and they tasted games that felt good to win. Now they're making runs.
Yeah, they're going to have a prove when Carly Lloyd goes away, Morgan Bryan goes away, Aaron McLeod. The defense has been pretty good here for 2 games, but much different personnel Sesselman and Chapman won't be there for a while, so that'll be the rough patch for the Dash to get through, and they'll be hit as hard. I think Houston and Kansas City get hit harder than any other team, maybe the Red Stars for the World Cup, and we'll see how they handle it.
Yeah, definitely got to get the points when you can, and want to thank everybody at home. This is Dan Laletta. I'm Charlie Flo. I want to thank everybody for tuning in for Week 2. We'll be back here in a couple weeks on a Sunday. So mark your calendars down. April 26th, we'll be right back here in this booth. So look forward to seeing you guys. Thank you for tuning in to the NWSL Network, Sky Blues broadcast of NWSL Soccer. Houston Dash 1, Sky Blue 1 is the final.